great Monday and welcome to the Coach Show, where women life and business coaches come to be educated, equipped, and empowered to coach with confidence and lead with transformational power. Join me, Coach P, right here on the Life and Business Coach campus every Monday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time to package your brilliance, optimize your performance, and bring harmony to your life. Well, great morning. I should say great afternoon. So it's great morning in some places, great afternoon in others, and even great evening in some others. So equipped, empowered, poised, and positioned to move those who are ready to move is my ultimate mission. I wake up every day determined to make a difference in my assigned place. You see, my purpose, my passion, and my focus is to take you, each one of you, from where you are to where you want to be. I am Pamela Lue-Hing, better known as Coach P. And I come to you today on the Coach to Coach Show to talk about productivity. And what do we do on the Coach to Coach Show? We help people discover their gifts. We help coaches specifically, the life and business coaches, discover your gifts, develop your gifts, and then give them away every single day. We help you do just that. We are sponsored by the Life and Business Coach Campus here on Facebook. And so I want you to like, to share, to comment, and to engage with us. If you have a comment, please engage. If you're here, let me know that you're here. If you're watching the replay, let me know. Talk back to me as well. I do check for comments and questions. Last week, on last week's show, of course, that was a replay of Ignite Your Vision. Igniting your vision and really learning how to do that effectively is what we talked about. So if you missed it, you got to go back and watch it there on the Life and Business Coach campus. And so ladies out there who are coaches or who are currently coaches or want to become a coach, I invite you to join us on the Life and Business Coach campus, where there again is education going on. And we equip you with everything you need to be successful in your business. And so please join us there. Today, we're going to talk about, again, the 5 productivity tips successful people live by. The 5 productivity tips successful people live by. So, what's very interesting is we all, at some point in our lives, have a dream. I truly believe that. Now, has there been a study done? Perhaps there's a study somewhere out there. But I truly believe that everyone, at some point in their lives, have a dream. And so really, once we have that dream, what happens to it, right? What happens? Either we've had a dream and we've allowed that dream to go away, or we've had that dream and we began to set goals toward making that dream become a reality, right? So either you dream, you let it go, or you dream and you take it a step further and you sit down and you actually set some goals to make that dream happen. And then there is the make it happen crew. So in the second scenario, you set the goals to make it happen, but do we actually act upon it, right? So we just set the goal. So we dream, we set a goal, and then the third is to make it happen. Some people never get to the make it happen. And so that's what I want to talk to you about today. How do we get to the make it happen stage, right? So we've dreamt beautiful dreams. God has placed it in your heart. He's put it on your mind. He's put it in your spirit, and you just can't get it off your mind. You go to sleep thinking about it. You get up thinking about it. But then how do we make that happen? It seems like it's so huge. It's like a huge elephant, right? And I love that old saying that goes, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? And so then you set goals to make it happen. And then after you set the goal, that's where a lot of us get tripped up. So we set the goal, but then it's like, okay, I set the goal. I can see it. I can feel it. I can taste it. But how in the world do I make this huge dream come to pass? Well, it's all in the make it happen. That's the next stage. That's how we make it come to pass. We just make it happen. We do the work required. But then how do you do the work required? That's where the productivity comes in and the focus on these 5 things. So we're going to talk about these 5 things today. And as a coach, I always share that you want to be an entrepreneur who coaches, not a coach that is an entrepreneur. What does that mean? That means that we're constantly working on our businesses, not just in our businesses as coaches. Okay. So, for coaches out there, make sure that you are working on your business. This week, we should spend at least an hour working on the business, not just in the business. So what's the difference between working on the business versus in the business? I've got to share this before we get into the productivity tips. The difference is when we work on the business, we're actually sitting down and we're doing the goal setting. We're sitting down and we're looking at our operation. We're looking at our activities. We are paying attention to what we call the KPIs, the key performance indicators. Those things that we track, those numbers that we track, or activities that we track to let us know that we're getting closer to our goal or that we hit our goal. Okay, so whatever that might be, if we take, for instance, in the sales cycle, right? We know that a third typically will move on it, will purchase, right? A third. It's the rule of the third. So if you have 100 people who have attended, say, a webinar, then, 100 people who have signed up for the webinar, right? So they've signed up for the webinar. We can expect that a third will probably attend. So you'll probably get anywhere between 30 to 45 or so people who will attend the webinar if you have 100 sign up for it or register. And of that 30 to 45, 33, somewhere around there, you'll get a third of them who will say yes to your opportunity. So now we're looking at about 10 people who will say yes to your opportunity. Okay, so it's very important that you understand what those KPIs are, how to work the numbers, and understanding truly what it means to be productive. Okay, so you got to track numbers in order to be productive. You got to look at what you deem as a success, whatever that success might be. All right. So let's go ahead and get into our habits. And that's the first, the ritual habits. Okay. That is the first of the 5 tips. And in addition to the ritual habits that we create. Okay. So what do I mean by the ritual habits? You get up in the morning, you meditate, you maybe work out, you take a shower, you get dressed, you have breakfast, and then perhaps you get into the office, right? So that's ritual, that's habit. So the other things that may impact the habit is really, or the productivity, excuse me, which habit will really affect it. Is an effective habit? Is it one that prepares us for the next? How about checking emails, checking Facebook, things like that? If that is a part of your ritual or your habit, are we truly being effective in that time? Are we giving it a time block? Say, hey, we're only going to go in here for 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the time. And then once that time is up, I'm going to then get out of that and move on to the next task that's going to help me be effective today. Okay. So we've got to make sure, even with our ritual habits, that we ensure that it is productive. Even if it is a habit, we've got to make sure that it's setting us up for the next, Okay. That's the key, setting it up for the next. And some of the challenges to productivity, if I can interject that here, one would really be, a lot of times I talk about those 7 areas of essentials, those 7 essential areas of our well-being, right? And that's the mind, the body, and the soul. The mind, you have the psychological, how well we compartmentalize, how well we manage our thoughts. Then there is the intellectual, how are we engaging and learning and growing our capacity, and elevating our minds, right? Feeding our minds. And then there is the emotional. Emotional management is so key, right, to productivity. and to being effective and efficient every day. And then lastly is financial, how well we are managing in that area as well. That's a part of our well-being. And then the body would be the physical, how we're taking care of ourselves, how we're eating, and then the social, how well are we connected to our circles, how intentional are we about creating our circles? Okay, so that's the social. And then lastly is the spiritual, which holds everything else up, right? It's what we believe in, what we walk, what we talk, who we are as spiritual beings. And so those are the 7 areas of well being. But when it comes to productivity, our productivity can be stifled, right? If we are out of balance. So if we're not paying attention to the emotional management in those 7 essentials, then we're out of balance. If we're not paying attention to the spiritual aspect of self, then we're out of balance, right? If we're not feeling well in our physical bodies, we're out of balance. And so in order to be productive, we've got to focus in on those areas. And we also have to be mindful, of course, of overbooking, and then procrastinating. And one that has had plagued me for years was just taking on too much, saying yes when I really should have been saying not right now, or utilizing famous word, that famous word, 2 letters is no, right? That 2 letter word, no, exercising that. Well, I've had challenges over the years in doing that, which has impacted productivity. So I've had to learn how to adjust that and say, I cannot say yes to everything. And the question to ask yourself, and this is how I was able to move from saying yes to everything to just saying yes to those things that really align with my goals, my business model, right? My energy level, my capacity, was to really then focus on just that. What does that thing, does that activity or that task, that invitation, does it align with where I am now, with what I'm doing right now? It's just to ask myself that very important question and being very intentional about the yes, being very intentional about the no. Okay. So, in order to do that, we've got to look at our current plan, our goals. Does it align? Is the question. All right. So, that's the first thing. So, paying attention to your rituals or your habits. Thank you so much. If you're here with me, please go ahead and put your name in comments. I would love to say hello to you and give you a shout out. Okay. So, that is the very first thing you want to do. The second thing you want to do is you want to manage your calendar more effectively. Okay. So that means that we want to exercise what we call time blocks. So this is just an idea for you, right? So you would time block your client calls, time block marketing, time block working on your business. Earlier, I talked about working on your business versus in your business. Well, that is, creating, you can do that if you create time blocks, right? Um, time to eat, time to just take a moment to get up from your desk and, refresh yourself, walk outside, get some sunshine, get some air, right? So that's critical to managing your calendar because we need to be able to rejuvenate in order to produce, all right? And rejuvenate to create. How about that? We need to be able to rejuvenate to create and to remain creative. And so that is number 2. What's number 3? Number 3 is learn to just let go. Okay? Learn to just let go. That means delegate, the art of delegation. That was a huge challenge for me. Why? Because I guess you can say I like to be in control. I just do. I like to um, set the goal, and then I like to see that goal out. That's just me. I like to be a part of every aspect of that goal. But what I realize is I can't do it all by myself. And I have really, really come to that conclusion. And in coming to that conclusion, I had to do something about it. I had to develop a team. And right now, not just right now, but in this season, we have developed a phenomenal team. And I'm so very proud of our team here and how we work together, the synergy, the energy that's created, the esprit de corps that has been created, the productivity that's going forth. And we're hitting our KPIs, our key performance indicators. We're keeping an eye on how productive we are, and we're energizing each other, supporting one another. And there's nothing like having a phenomenal team. So when you learn to let go, the question is, how do you let go, right? So you pray, and then you find someone or create a team that can carry out the tasks, so that once you let go, you can be confident in letting go. Okay, you can let it go so that you can begin to focus your energies on the bigger task, on working on the business versus just working in the business. Make sense? All right, so that is number 3. Number 4, drum roll please, is work hard, play harder. Another lesson I've had to learn. Have I mastered it? Not quite, because what I do, I love. I absolutely love what I do. And when we um, work all the time, it, even though we love it, it can become very draining, right? Over time, and we don't even realize it. And we wake up one day and say, "Wow, I'm tired. I'm past tired. I'm tired." Okay, I'm worn out. And if we just take a moment to find something that we enjoy. One of the things I enjoy is, and now I didn't before, but I do now, and that is I binge watch. I love romance movies. Anything romantic, I love it. And so I will sit and in the evening and I will binge watch a romantic movies as they come. And I just love it. I really do. And so that I enjoy reading. I enjoy just um, getting some fresh air, walking. I enjoy that a lot. Enjoy exercising. Staying committed to exercising is another talk show, right? But it's something that I definitely enjoy and I get a lot of benefit from. So, what is it that you enjoy? What is it that you can um, find, especially if you work like I do, which is you're staying focused and you're passionate about what you do. You actually love what you do, and it brings you so much joy and so much happiness and energy. But we know that we have to plan the time to decompress, right? So I ask you, if you want to put it in comments, I invite you, how do you decompress? How do you enjoy your life? How do you take this moment and enjoy this moment? All right. So please go ahead and put that in comments. If you are with me, if you're watching replay, I want to invite you to put that in comments, because perhaps you will inspire someone else to take time to not just work hard, but play harder. Okay. So that is number 4. And then lastly, drum roll, it is just to focus, 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 focus. You know, being a person that has been challenged with ADHD, adult ADHD. It has focus is a very interesting concept for the person who has ADHD. Why? Because our minds never turn off. Anybody, can y'all relate to that out there? Your minds never turn off, even at night. I have to create a ritual for myself at night in order to just decompress, to get my mind to shut down for a moment, for some time, so I can rest well at night, right? Because my mind constantly goes. So is there anyone else out there like that? So what do we do? How do we get focused? How do we focus and not multitask? And that is, be intentional. And that is something that I work on daily. I keep a strict checklist of things that I need to accomplish for the day. And then I inspect what I expect even of myself. So as I'm working through those tasks, I constantly ask myself, Pam, are you focused on this task, or do you find yourself drifting to go over here and start working on something else? Or did someone email you and you feel like you need to respond right away? Or did someone call you and you got to answer right away? Or somebody text you, or whatever the case may be, right? I have to literally fight. I'm going to say fight. It is a fight to focus. We got to fight to focus. Why? Because there's so very many distractions out there. Okay. So focus is the key. So let's go ahead and recap the 5 productivity tips for successful people, and successful tips that they live by. Okay. All right. One is create effective and efficient ritual habits. Number two is to manage your calendar by time blocking. Time block, write down everything you need to do and create time blocks for it. Number three is to learn to let go, learn to delegate. Get people you trust, you know, like, and trust, okay, and delegate. Number four is to work hard, but play harder. Find that something you enjoy and commit to doing it. And then lastly, to focus. How do we focus? We get intentional. We create a checklist, if that is how you work every day. And whatever it is, decide what those goals are going to be for the day. Write it down. And as you go through those tasks and you complete those tasks, go ahead and check it off. And constantly ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now focus on this particular task? If it's not, is it an urgent task that I must focus on in addition to focusing on this? Or can I stop what I'm doing in order to take care of that? If it's urgent, then I'll probably need to do that, and then I can get back to the task at hand. Okay, so focusing is key. So that is what I have for you today. I hope you have enjoyed the episode today of the 5 productivity tips successful people live by. Next week, tune in as we talk about how to turn a dream into a workable plan. All right, how to turn a dream into a workable plan. So thank you so much for joining me today on the Coach to Coach show. And until next week, God bless and stay focused.